In a previous video, we explored some of the finer points of upsetting as it can be observed under the pressure of a hydraulic press and the force of a pneumatic hammer. Now we are going to carry some of what we saw there over to the hand hammer. It is important to keep in mind as we go that the point of this video is not to show the step-by-step methods used to make great upsets. That will come in a later video. Instead, we hope to point out the cause and effect of decisions you may make in the upsetting process, and in that lay the groundwork for a better and more fundamental understanding of what is happening when you upset a bar, thus, in the long run, helping you to design the process, not just execute it. Let's start by observing a soaking blow. This steel is half-inch round, and 1 inch of it has been heated with a torch to a high heat. The hammer used here is a blue pattern number 4, which is 4.5 pounds, a large hammer for forging, but in this instance, for upsetting, you can see as the hammer is thrown at the work and left to rest on it for a short time after each hit, just like under the press, the added detention time makes the metal swell and makes for a fatter upset, until, of course, balance is lost. Now with a smaller, more reasonably sized hand hammer, a blue pattern number 2, which weighs in at 2.4 pounds, we upset the bar with hits that are both lower in energy, but also allow the hammer to recoil faster. The upset quickly forms higher on the bar as a result of this slapping blow. Now would be the time to point out the hand hammer's greatest power as well as its greatest weakness. It is easy to observe how dynamic that the hand hammer is, unlike the power hammer, which has a frame you could park a small tank on, or the frame of the press that is heavy enough to be used as the frame of a tank. The hand hammer has only its inertia to keep the metal in line as you upset it. So while you can make corrections at will as you upset the bar, it's undoubtable that you will have to do it more often, especially if you haven't focused on refining your hammer swing the way a professional golfer works on their golf swing. In the last 2 upsets as well, they have heated an inch of steel, which is difficult to manage to balance as you go and is a bit excessive. However, it is good to show how drastic of a correction you can make with each hammer blow, as well as how big of a mistake you can make. So now let's look deeper into those corrections. With each hit, the metal can be pulled or pushed if the path that the mass of the hammerhead is traveling on is not perfectly in line with the center of balance of the metal being forged. It is also very important to note that the work being done is being done by the velocity of the hammerhead and not by you pushing or pulling after the hammerhead hits. You are better to just guide the head along the path as best you can and as effortlessly as you can without overworking yourself by trying to force it. We teach that if it is possible, it is good to change sides if you need to make a correction. Due to the way your body is shaped, you can swing with more power and precision along a path that follows the arc of your body. Thus, it is much better and easier to pull an upset to you than it is to push it away. As well, you will have more control over the process too. Now on to another trick. The hammer is dynamic and often the work being upset is stationary but not stable. For instance, the metal is usually clamped in a vise or held in tongs. Thus, if you hit it from the side, it will just bend or be knocked out of the vise. But if you want to make a steep upset, simply adjust the hammerhead to the angle you want, but swing the hammer along a path that is in line with the center of balance of the workpiece being upset. This is something a lot of smiths miss out on when upsetting. In fact, this is one of the reasons behind the blue pattern hand hammers being so stubby, with a lot of mass to the center. They could be rotated further without losing their balance to the effect that we show here. Most of the upsets that you do will be more like this though, a small low heat, easy to control and correct. Even for someone who doesn't understand the principles we have talked about in this video, this result can be achieved. But now that you do understand the underlying principles, you can push further out of your comfort zone and see what is possible when upsetting. Practice and exposure. Keep pushing yourself and see how far you can push the material you work with. Thanks, and subscribe to keep up with what is new with Blue.